a giant leaf that I thought was suitable for an animal cell because animal cells' shapes are irregular, and so is this leaf, so I thought that was suitable. Sorry for the quality on my phone, it's really bad, and I kind of have to hurry this along because my phone doesn't take longer than 5-minute videos, and I already shot this and it didn't work. So, my nucleus is this buckeye seed. The nucleus contains the cell's DNA. It also controls the cell's functions by coding for proteins. The result of an extra chromosome in the nucleus is Down syndrome. People with Down syndrome have a full or partial copy of chromosome 21. There are many symptoms of Down syndrome, but some of them include delayed development, learning disability, short stature, and delayed speech. The common treatments for Down syndrome are a variety of therapies such as physical, speech, and occupational. The disease is incurable. And then my nucleolus is this little brown spot inside of the buckeye. The nucleolus is found in the nucleus. It makes ribosomes. And then I put hot glue around the nucleus to represent the nuclear envelope, which is a thin membrane that shapes the nucleus and allows material to move in and out. Next, I have the Golgi body, which is this piece of dead grass that's kind of long and tangled. The Golgi body modifies, sorts, and packages proteins for the cell. When the Golgi body malfunctions, it causes a disease called achondrogenesis. It is caused by a defect in the microtubules of the Golgi body. The symptoms are a short trunk, small limbs, and a narrow chest. It occurs when a person's body does not produce enough growth hormone. As a result, cartilage and bone do not develop properly, causing abnormalities in the skeletal system. Treatment of achondrogenesis is when physicians attempt to reduce or minimize pain, stress, and specific symptoms associated with the disorder. Next, I have this leaf, which represents the mitochondria. I thought it represented mitochondria because it has wavy lines on it, kind of like the membrane in the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell. It converts stored chemical energy into food, It converts stored chemical energy in food into useful compounds for the cell to use. Next, we have the endoplasmic reticulums over here, which is the organelle responsible for assembling the lipid portion of the cell membrane along with proteins that are exported from the cell. It's also a transport system. So they're over here by the nucleus, and this is the rough ER with the leaves, and the smooth ER doesn't have leaves to represent the ribosomes. The rough ER is involved in protein synthesis and modification. It also has ribosomes attached along it. And then the smooth ER over here has no ribosomes attached to it. Unlike the rough ER, it's also responsible for the formation of the lipid portion of the cell membrane. Next, I have these clumps of dirt to represent the centrioles. And the centrioles are only found in animal cells, and they aid the cell and cell division. My ribosomes are this little clump of leaves, and they're small pieces of RNA and protein found in cytoplasm that assemble proteins. Next, the cell membrane is a thin, flexible barrier that regulates what enters and leaves the cell, which is the entire barrier of the leaf. And the cytoplasm is the jelly-like material found inside the skull other than the nucleus. It's a filler material. And that is the base of the leaf. The cytoskeleton is a network of protein filaments that support the cell and provide shape, which are these things that I had to glue standing up to represent that if this were like a complete 3D model, they would hold up the shape. And then a vacuole, which is my pine cone over here, is a storage sac that stores water, proteins, and other useful proteins. They're large in plant cells. Next, I have my lysosome, which is somewhat the same size as the vacuole as in animal cells. Lysosomes are organelles filled with enzymes that are used to break down lipids, carbs, and proteins so cells can use them. A malfunction in the lysosome results in Tay-Sachs disease. What happens is the molecules that are supposed to break down materials accumulate instead because of a deficiency in one of the lysosomal enzymes. The symptoms are seizures, blindness, deafness, and paralysis. Most children that are diagnosed with Tay-Sachs don't survive past the age of 5. There are no treatments for the disease, so it is incurable. Lastly, these little lines that are inside the nucleolus, inside the nucleus, that are all they look like they're all scrunched up and bunched together, represent the chromosomes, which are tightly packed DNA strands, which are also chromatin, which chromatin are loosely dispersed DNA in the nucleus, but if they're tightly packed, they're chromosomes. So yeah, that's my cell model right there. Pretty good.